like, okay, what are the next few days are going to go? My other indication would be on my chart, I'm showing about three, four reds in a row. And I always kind of go back to that weird saying that I've got when you see 4 days of red in a row, you start to look for a green. 5 days of red in a row, you might see a green. If you're getting a bunch of red in a row, that's not a good sign at all. But you could catch those day swings that you're talking about, or a day trade, try to pop one of those green candles. And if you hit one of those, you might be able to say take a profit on that, maybe redo your TA and catch a bottom bounce to where you average down to catch yourself, to maybe
Little pick
gain
me
more
up.
shares or, better your position. That's kind of how I would play. Like if I'm getting behind the power curve, I call it, then I try to look for those opportunities where maybe I can grab a few more shares, or maybe I just cut my losses here and look for something else.
Yeah, it's really sweet. Yeah, I like to scan for just like unjustified movements in the market, and then like find the news and see what's going on. I don't mind writing puts if the volatility isn't crazy, and say if I double this, I picked up that CCC call for or put for like $35. I just set a limit,
Hmm.
see if it was gonna move in that range, and then as soon as after market closed, it started pulling back. So if I double my money on that, where I made $35, I'm sitting at 70 in equity. Like that's pretty sweet for like not having to do much but click a couple buttons on your screen and then pay attention to what's going on. So I like to grab like little tiny plays like that, and then typically I dump them into like my longer positions. And
Well, yeah. So why did CCCC pop like it did? It was a big news event, or what was
yeah,
the?
so it's a biofarm, and I went and looked up. See if I can pull it back up. I should have probably saved it.
Because they had a pretty monster day.
Oh yeah, it was like crazy, crazy. What I'm looking at is just the volume beforehand, right? So if you go back, I mean, it was taking like 500 shares of volume prior to this run.
Well, I mean, this is a pretty significant deal. I mean, it's busted every resistance point for the last,
Right, right. And
you
that's what
know.
I'm looking at. It's like, okay, C4 therapeutics, work internet. I'm gonna have to get back to this. I'll try to throw it up in the nest here in just a sec.
Yeah.
Always a good reminder. We are 8 people talking in this space, and there's only one like on our space. So if anyone would like to, they like what they're hearing and would like other people on Twitter to know that, they could go like the space if they would so choose.
Hey, Captain, I see a coom down there. Let me just shout out to a coom.
Big shout out. He's the man, the myth, holding for gold. I love that. I love that PFP.
And
That
he
one came
told
out
me
pretty good.
yeah, he told that's a good one you did. He told me he is thinking about getting back into it. He's gonna do a program or something. I can't wait. It's like, yeah, start of next year maybe, he said, somewhere in next year. But can you imagine this guy? I mean, he's already kicking ass, and then come in with some sort of whatever he's working on. I know he's a tech guy, so totally awesome.
Oh, you mean he's working on it? He's got some programming in the background.
I think he might be working on it. Yeah, a little super secret something. So.
It's funny how many like apes, like man, the big apes, they're making me so proud lately. And like just Rick, the last couple days, they're all making me just so proud. Um, with how we should go about this,
Yeah.
and even Shad as well. I mean, Shad, yeah, not everything in Coom, you know what I'm talking about, but um, Shad's been doing, hitting homers as well.
Good to see.
So I think this weekend's going to be big. I think we need this actually. This other uproar, but we need to. I don't know. Maybe better handle it.
Yeah, positivity. Positivity.
Well, and like a way to like direct it back to what our effort is, and so anyone who stumbles across those conversations can always be like, this.
Yeah.
And it was always funny because once you ask people going, okay, well, what specifically was your thing? Oh, the tone. Oh, well, you know what? You can't do anything about tone, my friend. Um, let's talk about something that's real. Um,
I'll tell you what we could talk about this real, Captain. Sea-Doo.
what's that?
Real. Sea-Doo is real. It's coming alive. Did you look at it?
Wait a minute. Doo-doo? Is this a stock or is this like poop?
Sea-Doo. Mark Sea-Doo. You guys are
Oh,
Sea-Doo.
Yeah,
bro, it came
yeah.
alive. Yeah, it got up to 5 cents. We are
Yes,
we
but
are
look at
rocking it.
that. Look at that hammer candle. I mean, come on.
I know. I'm hoping, man. I recently I'm into this way more than I would like. Oh, and then fucking hammered down. Look at that.
Oh.
Look at that right at 2 p.m. They were like, "No, it's going back to 5 cents from 5 cents." Um but you're right. That daily chart does look much like the SPY. Um is what I would say.
Did it mirror it?
Yeah,
Although
exact copy.
you know what I did well with today.
What?
All right, so we're going to our $20 to 20 million challenge, the Maccabees, the meme stock portfolio Maccabees edition, where
Yeah,
I use my Cash App to
this is
you know
super hard challenge right here.
I did get a donation of $50 into
Nice.
the Cash App. That was
Nice.
from Maccabees because he's just way too generous to us. Um, but let's see. So some trades I did this week. I bought, I sold GameStop last week, but then I bought $25 of GameStop this week. And I want to say it was like during a major dip where I think it got down to like 15. And then I sold some of it today. And I sold the basically what I put into it. I just because you can't even choose number of stocks on Cash App. This is how hard this challenge is going to be. You have to spend increments of dollars. Um, so I sold um
Now, is this fees? I mean,
$25.
how are you going around fees, or is there no fees on this?
Oh, there are fees. They just put it in there. They
Oh,
magically put it in there for you.
okay, okay.
So you buy 25, and I think they take a little extra. I don't think it comes out of that 25.
Okay.
Like
Um,
24.75 is what they take.
yeah, and you get like a little less stock or something
Yeah,
like that.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
yeah,
Okay.
I gotcha.
So right now I'm sitting at
Because it dipped.
$62.20, and I've got about 15.28 in the stocks. I'm holding about $8 of GameStop that I'm in at an
Because it dipped
average
around
cost of
14.
14.91 is my average cost
There you go.
on that
Nice.
one. That was pretty good. That was like good 10%. Dish Network I've played. My average cost right now is 4.29, but I bought at the dip, and I had some
Well,
at
that should be in the
four.
green.
Yeah, that was. Oh, I sold. So I'm holding on to like $5.34 of that, and then I have some Wish left over, and then of course Bed Bath and Beyond if it ever comes back.
Wish. What is Wish?
Wish.
Wish, of course.
It's that really really cool company that everybody loves.
Oh
Uh,
well. Oh great. Yeah, you want to hear this? My average cost on Wish is horrendous because I bought it at like pre-split. So
oh,
yeah, I'm in Wish at an average cost of 11.70, holding about. Oh, my total investment was $4, and I'm down to 11 right now.
Average that down.
Yikes!
well, not
I could,
everything goes as planned.
Yeah, throw
and
like another $16 at it.
I can't average down on it though because it's on a spike. I don't know if you noticed the market today. Everything is running except for
Anything
Anything
in
I
your
bought.
HBOC.
portfolio.
Yeah, anything I bought.
Isn't that
Isn't
amazing
that
how the
isn't
whole
that like a
market can
weird thing?
rocket?
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
the only thing that's red is the stuff you're holding. It's
yeah.
like, how is
So
that
ridiculous.
possible?
I'm so mad about that.
Dude, my problem recently is that I'm just like I'll watch too many gains come. So like today I sold a little bit of Byron at like 24. Oh God, it was like I sold it way too early. I mean, now mind you, my average cost in this stock is like 17.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I sold for 24.31 today. That's how badly I'm reading maps. TA.
Okay, so I will tell you a challenging one that I've been I've been challenged myself. So I want you guys to look at Mara, Mara. Look at the yearly day chart, and you guys tell me what you're seeing for like.
Is that the crypto kind of
It's a
like
yeah, it's a crypto mining
minor?
company. Yep. But
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
they're kind
so
of swinging with the influx of liquidity in Bitcoin, right?
yeah, but see, here's the thing. If you don't know anything about it, just look at the chart. See, this is a thing I try to do. I try not to I block my brain out. Just look at the TA. Like if I'm looking at a chart, I don't want to know nothing about it. I want to see what the chart is telling
So
me.
you looking at a daily or a weekly on it?
So I'm on a year daily.
Okay. Yeah,
And
it's got a
if
nice little upswing on it, doesn't it?
well, if you put a piece of paper over the last couple days, would you have thought that that would have that big of a turnaround?
No.
Because remember, now that you know the stock, you would have seen that crypto was diving. What? It went from like 44 down to 40 or something. Everything's turning negative. It looks like the thing's going to crash, right? And pick up that gap that we have, the little gap sitting right there. And most of the time they pick up the gap, right? So if you were to put a piece of paper or cover those last couple of days, you would totally think that's going to go down and get that gap. Boy, it did not, did it? And so
Yeah,
that's
it's an odd
that's the
one.
challenging thing about stock trading in TA. Like, um, you have to be leery of everything that's going around, right? It's not easy. There are these people that say it's easy and this, that, and the. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right? So you also have to be fluid and be able to change with the market and the conditions. And that just goes along with your cutting your losses and all that sort of stuff quickly. If you don't like the direction it's going, you're gonna have to change. And I usually don't like to go more than 2 days. That's kind of my rule is like if I don't like the direction and it's not changing in 2 days, if it's a longer play, then yeah, I'm thinking about reassessing or changing where I'm at because at some point you got to protect your losses. So, but in that case, it actually turned around. So, and if Captain remembers, what did I say about a month ago that I kind of thought they might be putting liquidity into Bitcoin, and we should probably maybe look at a few Bitcoin and mining stocks. And Captain was really receptive to looking into those.
100% receptive. I really I jumped on that one, man. I know Mara. I do. I definitely know
You
Mara.
Have you ever played around with Block MDS? That
No.
it's like a crypto ETF. I wonder what that looks like. I haven't even looked at that in like since the big bull run.
Yeah.
BLOK, amplify
BLOK.
transformation data. Yeah, BLOK.
Okay.
And the chart looks pretty similar to Mara.
Yep. Yeah, and they're all going to kind of generally work off of the Bitcoin, right? So,
Right.
I mean, that's one thing to be said. You do have to like realize your macro and all of the crypto right now is going to be, Bitcoin and the big, what it's doing. But yeah, I mean, they're all going to kind of do that, but they don't all work exactly the same. Like you can get into some other mining companies and some other, like you say, ETFs or whatever that are not always going to mimic what they're doing just because of their own company's situation. But yeah, I kind of, yeah, little inside thing. I kind of got into a few of these Bitcoin about a month ago when I was talking about it because it just seemed like liquidity was heading into Bitcoin, and it did seem to go up to that 44 range or whatever that recently. So I don't know. But I did think that chart was amazingly challenging on Mara because it was like, wow, who would have thought that, everything on that thing looked like it was headed a different direction.
So
And
what's back to this thesis that you have
uh-huh.
now? Now let's say the market pulls back. We know we're coming into December and some tax loss harvesting, rebalancing of portfolios. A lot of that kind of usually takes place. Do you think that there's more of that that's probably going to take place? If we do see another week of running on the market.
Um, man, I've been horrible with the macro right recently.
And I'm not putting you on the spot to like call it.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, is
I
that
don't
a
honestly.
reasonable thought to kind of have?
Yeah, I mean, I've always said that, tax harvest season is usually a thing. The problem we're having, I think, this year is all of this presidential crap. And people are actually, for some reason, it seems like they just are done with Biden. So they're just like excited that somebody else, it doesn't matter who it's going to be, at least we get this old man out of office. I don't know. It just seems crazy, but usually every year, yeah, you have the tax harvest. I've already said it. I kind of went into playing that already, and I'm getting my ass kicked. So
Same.
usually, yes, usually it's better than this. So I don't know. It's this year is going to be a phenomenon. I have a tweet about that to Captain also about how I should probably post that one. How I'm in inverse spy and the market will always go up green now that I'm playing that side of it. So
And I'm in. I have some thing. I almost bought some more today. I was thinking about that actually for the meme stock portfolio Maccabees edition because I'm pretty sure I could buy that stock in that
yeah.
portfolio.
Well, and
Well,
I'm just looking at SPY right now, and to be honest with you, the chart's just, I mean, it's just screaming like it's going to be bullish. So, I mean, that's, I mean, what do you do? And this is the thing with TA is sometimes you got to put logic, you just throw logic out the window, because it doesn't matter if that's what's going on. It doesn't really matter. You have to follow something, right? And
right.
everybody wants like a clue of what's going to happen. So to me, TA is that clue. It's like, well, the only thing we really have to go on for tomorrow is history, right? So to me, the history would be my TA, and like if I'm looking at it right now, I'm like, there's only two options, right? You're running on the 4 green and the 5 green day, so you could definitely see a red day because you've had that 4 or 5 green day, right? But it doesn't mean that that red day is going to be like, oh, that's the start of a market crash. No, that could just be simply, it's going to have a little pullback. and then springboard back up again. So, and that's where you kind of have to stay fluid with this shit. You know, it's like it's not cut and dry. Nothing's cut and dry. We don't know the future. We're just trying to do our best analysis on what's going to happen. And then, you got all these analysis guys that, keep up with the news, the stocks, the wars, gold, all the, the market, stuff. And at some point it just gets overwhelming. So I try to just simplify it. It's like, okay, well, the charts tell me that this is the most logical explanation for
That
tomorrow or
and
what.
to be honest with you guys, like talking with you guys kind of keeps me off. Like it almost feels like a distraction jumping on Twitter and just chasing around the news and looking at things, and then to kind of come in and focus on a couple decent plays rather than trying to scan by yourself. Kind of hive mind it in an aspect. And I've played a couple of you guys' stuff and made a little bit of money, so I'm happy for that.
Yeah, and I mean,
But
I think when it boils down to it, like you can find those pops or like your CCCC, and you can get those news events. If everything looks good on that news event and everybody's excited about it, yeah, you're probably going to get a pop, right? I mean, that's easy money. That's how traders do it, right? So you got your day trades, you got your swing trades, and you got your long trades or whatever. Um, but if you can nail down some of the technique, I think you could play almost any stock. I mean, not that's hypothetical, but in reality, if you can look at it and you can see the patterns, like people say, then I really think that you could play any of them, kind of, if you just held long enough. Like I think people's convictions, like I talk about, sometimes they don't have the conviction to see the play out. Like I think they want it faster than it's really gonna
I
react, and I think that's where I can use my TA in charting, and it helps me. That's just my thing, but I think it
yeah,
helps
my
my conviction.
my my follow through is like terrible. And like I'll get it. I'm like, yeah, it's still going. It's still going. I've got like another 15 minutes in it. And then like I'm like, you know what? I need to sell it now. And then I
Yeah,
sell it and then I miss the big run typically. And then it's kind of like you don't want to lose that potential profit. I think a lot of people have traded most of the year unless you're playing, large cap stuff and, the top 10, NASDAQ stuff. But like you see that little bit of profit after being beat up on a lot of other stuff. And it's like, you know what? I've learned my lesson. I'm gonna take it. $10 is $10, fifty
yeah,
bucks is $50 and just get out of it. And I've
yeah.
been trying to do that a little more often. And I sent Captain here like a screenshot of his call out where I was sitting at 110% on my call, and then I left it open ended. So it's like I didn't sell it, so I'm trying to hold in for like the bigger gap up because I think it's still gonna transpire. But I kind of like hemmed and hawed back and forth like all day. Like, okay, I'm gonna sell set lemon on it, and then I'll cancel it like an hour later. I'm like, okay, it hasn't filled. Chart's not looking as good as it was, and it's just a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, and I think
But that
green
was
is green.
right.
Green is green too. It's always better to have green than it is the other way around.
Yeah, a lot of red, like 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 today.
Yeah,
Man, I'm so glad I sold that hyper inverse hyper short position.
yeah,
It would have probably got me for half today.
yeah.
Um, I gotta jump off for a minute, guys. It's Taco Tuesday, and I just made dinner. But if you guys are still up, I'll come back.
All right.
If we are, God, I just thinking about what you were saying. Yeah, I totally. I mean, I know what Surf was saying though too. Like I always miss the especially in big. I should have just held that conviction, man. Right
Yeah,
now, right?
and I think the thing that gets a few of you you guys more than it does me is because I play less options. So for me
Yo,
to write out commons is way easier. Like it's just, the percentage differences are huge, It is like I can weather the storm a little better, right? If I'm doing it that way. But
yeah.
it's just a different way of looking at it.
But it's also, I mean, when you think about it, I mean, because you do, I mean, and some of us waste way too much money on options. Like, I do have, like, big is probably a big wake up call for me. This one, because unless, we shoot up into super profitability, if we have like a disgustingly green day tomorrow in big, I might, I mean, I'll probably recoup some, but I did definitely take a hit on that one because and I think the thesis is still there. It's just, longer
Which was
term.
funny. Well, which was funny because you originally went long. I mean, your very first
Yeah,
thought was to go long with your
yeah.
commons, right? Or whatever you were playing. Because that was when you first called it out, whenever at three, whatever it was. And isn't it funny that your first initial was um, that you were going to go long? But I really don't think you thought it was going to go this high. And
No, I didn't. I didn't think that it would go this high this long. This
yeah.
high this long is like because look at it in the past. Like, and I understand past performance does not dictate future success, right? So I mean, that's 100%. But I mean, if we look back at now, I mean, it is a spicy stock right now because of the changing ownership. I think institutional ownership is down to 70% in the company right now, supposedly at
Hmm.
last reporting date. Um, yeah, I guess it did take a while to come down from its high on the last, run up
Yeah.
where it went to like 11. And I could probably see it going, I don't know, like what, 9, 10?
I'm just looking at Spy just in awe. Like I just like wow.
Oh, dude, look at that. I love this one candle. I mean, on Robinhood, it shows the high was 470, the low was 465.
Oh, jeez.
And, and then the low was 470, the high was 473.
It's just like I mean, when you look at that, what do you see? I mean, what's your take on
The after hours, I'm surprised at. I mean, we are my. You want to know my real take? One, you see a gap year to date from 423 to, or no, yeah, 423 to uh 426.
it? Uh-huh.
And then you also see that although that gap's filled.
Well, the one
Um,
gap at 441, well, 440 to whatever, 446, there's a smaller gap. I mean, that never filled. You got gaps down. I
yeah,
mean, there's gaps in this whole thing. I don't know.
you know,
I mean, just look at the Mac on that thing. I mean, it looks, it did just like 180-degree turn right there. Just whoop.
right? Who called that, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Is this completely rigged? Because it's like, that's just unconventional movements. I mean, I've been just beside myself on the spy for the last year. You know that. It just,
No,
nothing.
100%.
It looks like a heart monitor that is out of control.
Well, I mean, what were your thoughts on the CPI data this week? Are they
I think,
effing kidding me? Like,
yeah,
where are these grocery stores?
exactly. Where is this crap? My milk is ridiculous. My gas is ridiculous. You know what they did? They dropped gas prices, and that is a huge indicator. And you know the other thing they do is they change what they use for the indicator. So it's like they can pick what they want.
I mean, recession. A recession isn't even a definable thing anymore. That can come into question,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yeah. What is a recession? I mean,
Like,
who? Okay. I mean, I've talked about the housing before. In my area, I don't know who's affording these houses because these houses are not what the average everyday Joe can afford. And these are houses that have been around, like that, that you've just this is just inflation or whatever, well, inflation, and then the price of the houses doubling, and then the new construction, making those prices go up. It's out of control. It's literally out of control. Like I don't know who is buying these houses. Does anybody else have that in their area? This can't be just localized. And I don't
no,
know.
it's like I remember when people used to hear what I pay in rent, and they'd be like, "That is a mortgage," like And now it's not. It's almost not a mortgage, which is even scarier.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I
and I
mean,
mean,
and they're talking like everything's okay. Like the market is rocketing. Has anybody priced a car? I had to be in this situation. I had, we got the car destroyed. But uh has anybody gone to a car lot lately and seen what a car costs? Outrageous. I
I mean,
mean,
I'm paying way too much on my car. That's for my car. That's for sure. But
I'm blown away. I think the car prices now is what I bought my first house for. If you can
no,
believe,
100%,
if you can believe that.
100%, and that's the real problem. Is like, I mean, some of us, like not me, definitely, but like some of us, like got to be, benefit off of like growing up, say in the '80s, and then having that economy. Because you're right, my parents bought our first plot of land for like I want to say it was like 80 grand, but you're talking about two houses near the beach,
Yeah,
and it might even be a little less than that. Uh, um,
yeah,
so
it's
it's
just
just, oh
crazy.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and now look at what they're worth, or whatever. You go and say, wow, but who can afford that now? Like, right? I mean, did wages go up like that? I mean, are companies, paying that kind of wage to justify those house? But that's what I look at. Like, okay,
Well, what
so
happened? Well, what happened was right. It's not that the wages increased. It's just that households gained a second income, and that became the common, right?
yeah, that was the whole influx of the baby boomer thing they're talking about and all that. Any of the Gen X, whatever. Yeah, where now it's a two household income, which allowed. I think maybe actually what you're saying might be right. Like maybe that created a gap or filled the gap between that struggle between when you could barely afford those houses, right? Like you're saying in the 90s and stuff. And it was like, oh my God, do I have a second income? Could someone co-sign this for me? Blah, blah, blah. If I could just get into this house. Where now I'm looking at it like, there's no way there's people affording these things. There's no way.
No, right? No, 100%. We are, yeah, no, it's in. I
Even
mean,
with
I don't
two
know who's
incomes,
getting into.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, even with two incomes, you would have to make, well, I don't know. In my area, you'd have to have two people making pretty darn good money to afford like a 3, 4 bedroom house. which is crazy to think about. But
And who wants to live next to the people that can afford that house? I mean, they're probably assholes. No, I'm just kidding.
I almost slipped up there. Thanks for leading me right there, but I held back.
Right, right, because it does. It changes the character of the place though as well. I mean, luckily I live in a pretty posh area where they're all pretty much stuck up anyways.
Well, there you
But man, people in Texas that are getting the
go.
California rush, I do feel bad for them.
Oh, Texas is getting hammered. I mean, I don't know what, like, I guess it was the land prices were cheaper or whatever, but they are just getting pummeled with people. I mean, it's
Man,
crazy.
land prices, temperature of weather, and no income tax.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, when I look at the charts and I see the CPI and like all the indicators that you talk about, um, I know we've talked about. I don't see it. I don't. The big markets, I'm not seeing. I don't know. I get a few of them. Like I do understand a few of them, like Nvidia, AMD, the computer chip makers, the things that like they're very specialized. There's very few companies that can compete with them right now. They're so big and they have such monopolies. It's going to take some breakthrough technology from some company to even compete with them, and maybe someone will. Someone always does, it seems like. But for right now, they've kind of got a stranglehold on that, which I guess when the market leans on tech or they lean on big pharma, they seem to justify it in their own heads that um, it's justifiable or whatever to have the market do what it's doing. Um, I'm just trying to look at it from an every average day Joe like us. I say a 9 to 5er that's going to work. He's trying to pay the bills. He's trying to, grow his family, whatever the case may be. And you're facing these kind of bills and you're facing this kind of economy. Who's throwing extra money into the market? I mean, I kind of had that question too. Like, who's got the extra cash to sit there and go, okay, well, I paid all my bills today. I got my car payment finally done, medical bills, and I'm going to take this extra money and I'm going to go throw it into my 401k or whatever, or play the stock market. I don't know, man. It's like, and you're looking at these big macro markets, SPY, whatever, and you're seeing these kind of charts. What do you thought? I mean, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking I wish I had the capital buried in because I would probably have $350 puts as well.
Well, yeah, but then you saw Burry. He closed out those put positions.
Did he?
So he did. So what does
Oh,
that tell you? Like, what did he
right.
see that he was like, oh nope, I'm out,
God,
and he lost some money on that. I mean, I
he
saw.
must have.
Oh, he did. Yeah, well, he had to have. If he Probably not as much as they say. So I saw one report. They were trying to really like um, inflate the deal because his works on many factors. But anyway, um, but still, yeah, he had a big put position. He was kind of vocal about that, um, but yeah, I seen somewhere where they said he closed it out, and that was only about maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I seen that or somewhere in there. So, and then look, the market is kind of still going up. So if it's going up this much, and maybe he didn't have the liquidity to keep you know playing that side of the market. I don't know. I don't know exactly what he had, but it does seem like the last time he played the big puts or the big short, he had enough liquidity barely, and maybe he didn't want to risk it this time. I don't know. I don't know, but maybe he saw something else, or maybe he knows something else. So, but
Or
he's looking
maybe
pretty.
Maybe he's just retaining the capital. He wanted to take the capital out and then see where the new high is
And that
too,
could be too. Yeah.
because it's like preserving your loss, right? Because then even if you take it out at one point, because you're like, okay, well, this insanity is going on for longer. Maybe you
Yeah.
learned from last time. It was like, oh, if I just waited,
Yep.
you know,
Well, and it was years. I mean, he had to wait a
yeah,
he missed it last time. He was too early. And that's what I'm thinking, I mean, sometimes we see it faster than the market reacts, right? It's kind of like a delayed reaction type thing. And that's kind of why I like the TA because a lot of times like you'll see the news or some big event or like the CCCC thing that happened today where it doubles or triples and you can make a killing. Those days do happen, but a lot of times there's a delayed effect, right? There's the news day, boom, it goes up, then everybody sells, of course, because they're making money and they want to, take the gains. So then the stock like comes back down, right? So then the stock's coming back down, and then you got to find the new bottom. People start buying again if they're still confident in the stock. If it's not just a pump and dump and they're still confident in it, then you're going to get that bottom, right? And the new bottom is probably a little bit higher than the old bottom, and then you're going to ride it up. It's just this ladder, right? So that's kind of like that's kind of like a normal chart to me. Is like you're gonna have these ladder steps and this, that, and the other. When I look at the big markets, do you see anything that resembles any of that? uh, I mean, to me, I don't. I was in crap that remembers that. Like I said, it looks like a heart monitor. The dude's having, you know, defib problems. This is out of control to me. But I don't know. Anybody got anything they want to talk about? I mean, we know this. We know this is kind of abbreviated, short makeup call, but
Well, so I always do because I mean our title of the show is, of course, today's Teddy's Day.
Teddy Day.
It's the birthday of Ryan Cohen's father, Ted Cohen.
Yeah.
Um, there was some tinfoil about what might happen today. I haven't heard anything since we have seen this visceral reaction of the market. Like, I haven't seen anyone say like, "Oh, the market had the good day because this." Like Apple had a good day, or you know, um, and so it could be we're witnessing, trade zero, T0 coming into effect. Um, and then of course, Ryan Cohen being allowed to buy all the stocks. And so are we witnessing, the birth of the next potential Berkshire Hathaway?
Oh, I mean, I don't know why you would do it for any other reason, right? I mean, why go through all the effort if you're not gonna? And these guys are big players, right? I mean, they're not in this game to, you know, to. It's a different, couple of zeros, that they play with than what we play with. So I would definitely think that they got something bigger up their sleeves. He wants to do something bigger. It's going to be some sort of you wouldn't do what he's doing, in my opinion, unless he's going for some sort of a hedge, big, yeah, Berkshire Hathaway, something of that nature. And he has everything going for him right now. I think he's got sediment, he's got community sediment, he's got a lot of things, but he also has, you know, he's got a lot of potential with a lot of things he's doing, which I think the stock market generally um, likes that, favors that is the word I'm looking for. So, and, and he could pull off a big surprise with our butterfly too, right? AKA Bed Bath and Beyond, old.
All right.
That's right. Oh my God, is there a Care Bear? Oh no, it's Karen. Okay, welcome, Karen. Sorry, I thought you were a Care Bear. That'd be awesome if someone like managed. like burner account that was called Care Bear. Sorry, I didn't want to derail the conversation, but you're right, and I think that you know what my big tinfoil, and I put out a little tinfoil on this a little while ago, is given that GME was a straight buy, right? He just bought 9 point whatever percent of GME to get a board seat. In Bed Bath and Beyond, he did both commons and a strategy of options, right? But we know someone from the play, from the GME play, who specialty was utilizing options and commons to produce a bigger stack. And his name was Roaring Kitty. So my current tinfoil, like total speculation right now, is that the Charlie Munger to Ryan Cohen's Warren Icon is Roaring Kitty.
Yeah.
Boom.
How do we see, or where are we at with the bankruptcy right now?
I love how MDS is like, okay, so that's total speculation. I'm gonna move on. That is just
Was that dismissive?
did not want to know. Let's not even acknowledge it then. No, it's you know what? When that motherfucker comes true, you're gonna be like, holy crap! I just totally did it. I mean, whatever. It seems that to me, GME has a bright future. I don't know. Others might disagree, but you're right. Let's go on. What is going on with the bankruptcy? A whole lot of nothing because it seems like the BBY community
Uh-huh.
is pretty much just like settled into attacking each other.
Oh, really?
For whatever reasons, yeah. Like the other day, I guess there was because they host 24-hour spaces, so you run out of stuff to talk about, and then you start talking about politics or whatever. And I have nothing against anyone in that community. I love everybody. But you start talking about politics or something else, and it
Yeah.
all goes downhill from there.
Yeah, it's hard to stay on topic when these calls go too long, it seems
Like MDS is like hint on some of your other calls, like the one you fell asleep on.
You got to
Might have
start
been
drinking
too
with
long.
us.
That's right.
Man, last week I was so freaking hungover Wednesday morning. And today is not Taco Tuesday, it's freaking Wednesday. I'm off a day.
It is
But
very
It,
true.
yeah,
yeah,
I thought you might be off a little bit because I was thinking it's Wednesday and
that
he's talking Tuesday tacos, but
Did
whatever.
you
Maybe it was leftovers.
I solely planned my schedule around this post and it didn't happen yesterday.
We totally messed you up by moving it to Wednesday. You're like,
dude,
it's
he's been writing
Tuesday.
jokes. Dude, and the funny thing is like I was gonna like call out Mickey Cabs because he was like, I don't wanna ever talk Robin Hood. And Robin Hood, like right after Serfdom mentioned it, went on this epic run. I mean everything's going on a run, but it did go from like $9 to $11.
Right.
I'm just
It,
gonna, whatever
it,
serfdom comes up with next, I'm just going full port.
no, hell no. You're gonna hate me. Fuck.
Have
Where's
you
where's
ever
our
wanted
disclaimer?
have you ever wanted
Show
to
show our
own a lot of
disclaimer again.
have you ever
You
wanted to be trapped into AAPL? Because
ALPP, yeah.
that's it.
A
ALLPP. That's right. Yeah, whatever.
ALPP.
ALPP. You
Yeah,
ever
that's a
wanted to be
rough
treated
one,
there?
man. And like I think I'm not gonna get there, but I think they got something. They just haven't gotten there. So we'll wait forever. These fuckheads. But
Oh,
I don't want to go too heavy into it. I got I got a persona for that, you know. I gotta be nice, but I think they've made a few mistakes along the road, and a lot of it has been with their funding. So we'll see. But no, don't do that. Don't touch that stock for. If I talk about that, you guys stay away from it. Because
If I talk,
every time I get bullish on it, it gets retarded. Usually goes the other way.
That's
welcome
my
to
Uh,
finance,
hometown.
my friend.
right. I talking with you guys like starts getting my mind moving in other places, right? I'm like, okay, I gotta find this, find that, and then I don't know if anybody had a chance to read over this filing over that CCCC, but you know, I don't know what direction's gonna go. Like I might load this thing up with commons if it takes a nice dip and then it looks like it's gonna take more volume to keep going. But it looks like a partnership, a mutual partnership. They got paid out 10 million from the other company that they're gonna partner with, and then it talks about proceeds of sales and stuff. But then when I go on like dilution tracker and cap edge, I'm looking at their EPS, they're negative per share. They haven't put out any revenue. Like all the things that are there makes you wonder, like, is this a big fluffy PR pump into the year? And are we going to see insider selling? Or, I'm kind of running my speculation on it, but you get a massive move from $1 to $5 with just kind of a partnership announcement. I mean, I don't think that's enough to, keep the hedge funds away from it.
What's
So
the
that's
shares outstanding?
give me a minute. Actually
What's the
pull up.
shares allowable? How is there any easy way to find the shares allowable? Because I haven't found one yet.
No, because that information changes so often, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, if you're into MCOM, it does. But boom, ching. Um,
yeah,
I
by
looked
a
at
hundred.
I looked
Was it
like
100 today?
I looked at an old account and I have one share and it's like in at $125. I'm like, God, I hate that man.
So shares outstanding currently from Cap Edge is 49.28 million.
All right, and is there a short interest?
No, but this has got a lot of insider uh, institutional holdings. I think it's sitting at like 75%, which is kind of a good thing for them, right?
Well, that means your effective float. I mean, is there insider ownership or
Yeah, let's go to the insider stuff. Dispose versus acquire, common stock. We've got medical chief officer with 20,000 shares. Man, there's a lot of directors on this thing.
uninsured?
Performance restricted shares, 100,000. Everybody's kind of dotted around there. The big director, she's got about 500,000. Another 500,000. So there's effectively probably a couple million held through insiders. But I'm gonna go back to the volume, right? So volume was killer. It blew the top off this thing, is what I'm seeing. Um, the previous volume on the daily before it started to move. So it's been moving for 2 days. I mean, I'm seeing stuff like 100,000, even 1 million, 1 million, and then all of a sudden today with 225 million, and yesterday
Right.
was
What's the
179 million.
Yeah, but what was the price volatility?
The volatility, like in
No,
options.
no. What's the open close?
Oh
Or
man.
no,
Okay.
what's the high low? High low is volatility. What's
Okay.
the high?
So over the last 3 days, it was at a like last 3 days, we're looking at a low of 115, and then it closed today at 551 over a 3 day time period.
Okay, but what's the 3 day time period was the day that it had 200 and whatever, the huge volume?
The last 2 days has been huge volume. So Tuesday and today. And the one yesterday is one that caught me, so I kind of like thought, okay,
What's
there might be
the,
something up.
does anyone know the, what's that stat? Does anyone know the cost to borrow rate?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good one to look at. Give me a sec. And see, this thing is just kind of relatively just kind of sitting in the dark, and then all of a sudden you get one nice leg, and then they drop news on it.
And
So
this
kind of
is
like
triple
on the,
C? This is
uh,
CCCCC?
yeah,
Okay. Are there options or is it just,
there is options.
ooh,
They're gapped pretty bad on the options. Like,
well, I'm sure they're fucking through the roof
yeah,
right now.
right.
Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. The volatility. I had to put in that entry on that put for. I mean, I sat there. It probably took about 10 minutes to fill, but I wanted to try to catch it on a little lower volatility, less than 300%. I think I got it for about 200%. So,
okay.
but it was $35, man. Uh.
Yeah. Oh,
So
one of the best plays I made last week was I think it was that same dip that I bought the GME at 1490, and I literally bought the option, and within a half an hour I had made like 50 to 70%, but it was just because I saw that I happened to catch that huge extreme drop, and I was like, it's GME and it's trading way outside. There's no way it's not going to at least pop back up. Of course, I could have been wrong, so I didn't, bet the boat on just that one. But
right. Yeah, and this for me is just kind of like a little intra-week play. Like hopefully I don't get assigned Friday, so I got to close that thing out quickly. So I'm gonna make my decision tomorrow at open whether I want to hold on to it till close, but it closes Friday. Um, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was kind of just unusual. Hopefully I don't drop news first thing in the morning, and then I just gave away $35 for a premium. But I don't know. That was about the only thing that's really kind of caught my eye, other than everything else running up.
I got into I'm I got into Charge Point uh, puts
Oh,
this
when I
week, but not like a lot.
thanks. So
What?
I'll still hold that call.
Dude, that call like is printing right now though, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm up on it.
Yeah.
I was up on it like 110% that day. I was trying to close it, but it is. No, man, this chart. Let's go back on the hour on it. It's got a flag on it on the hour chart.
Yeah, I mean it had an afternoon it ran because I was actually in the money for most of the day,
Nice.
and then I suddenly was not in the money anymore. Although I bought them with a low IV, so I think even if it does surge up a little more, my IV is going to increase.
I gotcha. And you said puts or calls?
I'm in puts right now, but I
Okay.
bought them when it was like,
Yeah, nice, nice entry,
yeah.
nice and chill.
And I mean, I've got until the 19th of next month.
So
So
you
I'm not.
those Kroger puts I bought, and this is the thing with those having such low volatility when I bought them because they're only 35% volatility when I picked them up that next morning. They
Yeah.
swing like into the money like every day.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And just because I went long, so I'm not getting chewed away at state of decay. You know, went out like a month, month and a half on them. One of them I went out like 3 months. But if you can catch them with no implied volatility, I mean, you can kind of afford to sit on them and wait and see what happens. Because what's a swing $10 this way, or $5 that direction?
Well, that's why I'm chilling on my 26, my like $26, because I went the opposite way. So I went the $26 call on Albertsons, and like my that one. So I also bought into a $23 one.
Okay.
So that one's been going well, but then my $26 one is it pretty much I set the market. If I want to buy one, my my portfolio jumps up in value because the only person selling one right now is like at $4 for some reason. So every now and
Oh,
then I'll put like 25.
and just get like a weird gamma spike on it or something.
Oh hell yeah,
Watch it. Yeah.
my like my account like will almost double. It's like crazy.
I like seeing the spikes. It makes you feel like you know what you're doing, right? But then it's like I don't know. I don't know how often like MDS you touch options or you mostly comments.
Yeah, I'm mostly commons. I let Captain do most of the option stuff.
Yeah.
I
Let me,
dabble in it, but I'm not a big guy. I just um I don't know.
yeah. Like, comments are the safe way. I mean, like, because you don't lose until you sell them, right? So, I mean, we could say that and then diamond hand them into the dirt, like a lot of people have with things.
I think you just have a little bit slower pace. Like I think they're great for people that, they like to sit and watch like they want to watch something all the time, right? And
Yeah,
I got
the
so much going on that
yeah,
I want to be
yeah.
able to
See,
leave the screen and not have a heart attack when I come back.
but that's
Like
the thing is like
you're
I
like
don't
racing. Sorry, racing over to Mark's house.
well
Oh
my
man.
thing with options is like it's not really that you're like I'm not putting anywhere close. Like I also have commons as well and common positions that I'll get into um or get myself into sometimes.
Yeah,
Um
like sometimes I'll hedge my
you know,
puts with commons and then like put in an entry point really low and see if it executes, and then if it bounces from that area. Okay, so yeah, I didn't smoke like a put, but now I've got my gains on my common side. So I kind of do like a mathematical thing. It's like whatever I paid for my put for my premium, I'll kind of like triple the money I put in for my commons. That way it kind of balances out a little bit if I start losing one direction or the other, and then I can decide if I'm going to close one position and then hold on to the rest. And then like if I really don't know, I'll run like a straddle or something or a strangle. I don't know if you guys have done any like more complex stuff like that.
I run them independently, but that's just to give myself the option of like sometimes hitting both the highs.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
actually researching something on your CCCC. I'm kind of behind the scene here researching stuff. I just wanted to look
Is
at
it isn't it kind of a weird filing?
it.
Like I was kind of looking at it. I mean, it's got massive numbers all over the thing, but it doesn't really allocate like what their partnership actually is. And this happens with biomeds all the time. Is that the scientist or whoever made the PR just aren't very good people at explaining it what they're doing for like the common person, that were to look at this. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it actually has any substance in the market or if it's kind of a cool, we
Well,
got a partnership and we got some money here.
yeah, I was looking at the shorts available, and pretty much all day they had hardly any available. I mean, they threw some up here and there. Um,
You think
but
they're
but an
I don't think they're
interesting,
gonna search for them and I think they're gonna pull it down, you know?
well, they kind of tried a little bit, and after hours, they threw out like 65,000. Just it looked like a test, to see if they could even bring it back down a little bit.
Wiggle it down, yeah.
Yeah,
Check the momentum on it.
so that's interesting because they really let it rip. I mean, they didn't throw anything at it. Like they knew to kind of stay away from that thing, which leads me to believe tomorrow might be another.
It
I
might
mean,
be
if you
another
don't see
ripper,
any,
right?
yeah, if you don't see any shorts like hitting the wire, like they're gonna try to knock this thing down. That's
And
kind of
I think they
interesting.
got some new price ratings out today too for almost a double from where it's at today. But you know how price ratings work. So
Yeah, yeah,
like I think I saw something up around $12. So I don't know. Maybe I test out a put and then let out commons in the Friday and see what happens.
yeah. It's definitely. I was just gonna try to get in and see how many people had, behind the scenes had started. Because sometimes you can see the hedge funds have been buying up, and there's Vanguard in here, T Rowe. There's a bunch of big names in here. Filing 13s, but it's just, you know, were they aware of this ahead of time? I don't know.
And that was my tick yesterday. I was like, why did this thing move so much? There's no news, there's nothing. To like it went from like 1 million in volume to 100 million in volume. And then today they dropped news. So maybe they let it rip again. I don't know.
Yeah, see,
But
they might be having a target price in mind. I mean, you got BlackRock, you got T Rowe, you got I don't know. Just watch the
I'm
top
trying
ones.
to I should pull it up on dilution tracker.
Yeah, see what that's saying.
I don't have an account and sometimes you can't really see things with dilution tracker, but
No, it's just interesting. There's some.
it kind of blew me away. I'm like, holy cow, this thing ran that much today.
You know what I've been liking is oh, I shouldn't do this on the live stream. Sorry, live stream. You get to watch us. Um,
Were you about ready to give some financial advice?
no,
No, no.
Because that's not allowed here.
that's right. No, it's Swaggy Stocks. I don't know if you guys ever gone to it.
Swag H stocks. Is it like a channel or something or
No, it's a website. They
okay.
have they've got like unusual options activity, which can be good for both common and non-common because that actually called out. That's where we got charge point that one night. When it was at $2 and it ran to
Yep.
230, 240 now. I mean, that's a decent return. That's like 20%, 10%.
hmm I think you're still good on your gap up. It really hasn't broke upward yet because I think they've filed for dilution, but I don't think it's actually enacted yet, right?
For charge point?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know they filed for dilution. I was just looking at the chart. That's hilarious.
running chart. I think it was a couple weeks back on that leg down. I think I might be getting confused. So So
I'm
I'm
under.
going to I'm gonna toss this up in the nest. There's dilution tracker.
There's
MBS, if you want to pick through that.
well, there's I'm looking at something else. There's like so you see the bullish sentiment on the swaggy. There's like nothing that does not have a bullish sentiment.
Oh, the swaggy stocks.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Okay, I found one. Yeah, it's like crazy.
Is it a Twitter profile or
I'm just looking at their swaggy stock. They kind of got a little quick. Um,
No, it's like a website,
okay,
and it's a bunch of guys who do like social sentiment, but they'll track. It's basically like a web page for
okay,
tracking social sentiment, and then they have like a newsletter that they can send you. Um, that I mean, sometimes you find gold, sometimes you don't. I mean, it's all about what you like and what you want to look at.
I gotcha. Oh, yeah, that's well, and that's how you could judge kind of the emotion on things, right? Like you see everybody really bullish one week, and then like come Monday they all stop talking about it. And
well, yeah,
usually
and
when everybody's talking about it is about the time you know you miss buying it, right? A little bit. I'm just kind of going off of like the emotional side of things because I've
yeah,
been
because I
kind of
mean,
trying to
you just
ride
look
that
at
a
all
little
these
bit.
funds. Like there's fund after fund after fund, and and then they all have these huge sentiments like Vanguard and Templeton and Global Fund, and it's just on and on and on. So the whole market's just jacked on these funds, according, the sentiment's pretty high on
Right.
all this stuff. So it can kind of give you an indication, that how people are viewing the market right now.
I can't remember what space I was sitting in, but somebody, said, and, and throughout the space, like you can watch that stuff just on the emotional aspect of it and probably know when it's a decent time to buy. Especially if you're following through Twitter and then picking through Reddit, and then if you're running Discords and running through all that stuff, um, and watch the bullish or bearish sentiment when it rolls in. Usually the bears kick in when the stocks beat down, and then the bulls kick in when it's near a top, right? Because they want it to keep going or fill their bags back up, right? So I've been kind of trying to pay attention to that emotional side of things before I start going in and deciding what I'm going to do because I don't know. It seems like a logical thing to do.
Yeah.
But I like bullish stocks. I just never buy them. Like
Yeah, they never
I'm
end up
I'm
in my they never end up in my portfolio going green forever, that's for sure.
I'm kind of mad I didn't buy any hood. And it's funny that we were talking about it last week, right? And then it's just been going and going and going. I think it's going to probably push up into the 1350 range, 1360 range, and kind of hit the top of where I've kind of drawn some lines out on it. But, you know, it's had such a negative set, a negative view on it since all the meme rallies from back in the day. And I think people have forgotten and to take a trade for what it is, and I think I had to like kind of mention like I'm not like trying to get in bed with them. I just if it's a good trade, it's a good trade.
Wait, but I am literally like on a mission to get in bed with them by taking them over and turning them into a good company. So I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't fault you. I don't fault you for talking about them.
What do you think they'll ever make that mistake again with turning everything off?
I mean, I just think like
I just am so insulted that they used the Robin Hood brand. Like that's my favorite childhood character. Like from that period. Dude's
Yeah.
like out there robbing from the rich, giving to the poor.
Right.
Um, and largely that's kind of what at least Wall Street Bets portrayed to a certain degree.
Right.
Um, sometimes, and then the total reverse of that as well.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. Have, it,
God, you
have
ever?
any of
Oh,
you
sorry.
gone back in and dabbled in that subreddit?
No, it's turned into like such the trash bin of the internet.
It is. I, I was watching everybody that YOLO'd on their puts yesterday, and they're all just posting law porn on
Now, have
there.
you ever?
I got a
Now, have you
few
ever?
good ones.
Now, have you ever gone to their Discord?
I had in the past, but I don't really appreciate Discord,
Oh,
to
okay.
be honest with you. I don't like the interface on it. I just always feel like I'm clicking on the wrong thing.
I hate their new update because I used to know Discord, but now it's like a foreign world.
Is their Discord any better than their subreddit?
No, it's actually much worse. It's like 4chan totally wiped out everybody else on Wall Street Bets and just has like the dozens of 4chan to some degree. I mean, I don't want to like whatever they like their Discord. I don't mean to talk any smack against it.
I got. I want to throw up that picture I sent you from the GME earnings call. That screenshot I snapped with all the Ryan Cohens.
Oh yeah, in the earnings call, that was dope,
I got a good laugh when I popped in there. I was like, how many Ryan Cohens are there?
dude. We are all Ryan Cohen. He's gonna make us into the next Berkshire Hathaway. Like
it's it's
from a
it's
stock that I bought at you know between $40 and $400, I believe.
if he starts buying Costco stock, I'm gonna get a little worried. I'm not long on Costco, but uh, I'm always gonna reference this movie uh, and it's Idiocracy, which at the time was meant to be like a comedy, but it's playing more out to be a documentary. If you haven't seen it, you want to watch something stupid, throw it on. So they have like $1 million
Wait,
cheeseburgers.
wait a minute. MDS, have you never seen that movie?
No, I don't believe I have.
Dude,
Really?
it's
Idiocracy?
No.
yeah.
It's a Mike Judd movie.
Huh.
A dude who did Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill.
Yeah.
But it's not a cartoon. But it's comical. I still go back and watch it at least like once a year because where I live, I feel like it's all coming true. Like the great trash collapse of like 2000.
Have, having stuff come back.
Yeah, go for it. You got to be in the right mood though. Fair warning. Like I don't know what your sense of humor is, but I think you could probably get a couple good laughs out of it.
Oh, I'm good for it. I like the old Office Space, movie and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
banging on the wall. Hey,
Yeah.
check out channel 4. Breast exam.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, should we get off before 1:30 a.m. tonight? I'm getting a little tired, so I'm probably gonna head out. But you guys do your thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was just kind of a quick get some stuff hashed out. But
Oh, what is it? 1:30? It's only 8 o'clock. Oh, for you guys, it's like 10, right?
yeah, yeah.
Nobody needs sleep, do they? I mean, I
He's an
could go grab the bottle of rum.
he's an animal. He just he's gonna go.
How late did you stay up on the last night? I mean, I think it was like 11 o'clock before we got off that other call. It's
Yeah,
pretty late.
I went directly to sleep. I was like, I was done at 10. I was done at 10 my time.
So
But yeah,
we're
if you got nothing else to do, I can always go watch episodes of One Piece. Because I have such a productive life. No, kidding.
you're getting up there.
It's true. Got
I mean,
so many
you're pretty
spaces.
busy with you're pretty busy with your spaces, man. I can roll like that all week long.
Yeah, it's called having no life outside of that. It's pretty. It works for me. I wouldn't recommend it
Hmm.
to anyone.
I'm surprised you couldn't get a certain character to read a tweet that he had posted though. I was like comically laughing at how hard you were pushing for that. Just read it. But
I love that he broke down and said that he basically like explained his whole sandbagging scheme. That was my like creme de la creme of that.
right. And I'm dude, those guys. I don't know. I don't know what to fucking think about them. I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
I know, and I
Anyways,
don't even want to spend any time on them.
no,
I
no,
did
no,
get
no.
access this week to Grok,
Grok, the AI,
the Twitter AI, because I took away Captain's blue check mark and I gave a blue check mark to
play with the AI.
NFAWA. Well, yeah, and that was because they want like I ended my account and they're like, okay, it'll be canceled on the 17th, and I was like, I can't upgrade till the 17th. I want Grok now, but I also did it. This is now our blue check mark account.
What are you gonna use all your power for?
I don't know. Um, talking to Gronk. Does anyone have any questions for Grok? We can see what he says. Let me put him on the main screen. Actually, I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, when is Spy actually gonna be realistic?
And go backwards. Dude, I would have so got roasted on that inverse. Oh, I knew better too. I was like, I shouldn't even be buying these.
What? What do you mean you? Huh? Oh, it's because I'm in the space.
Oh,
Damn, I'm gonna have to. You know what I'll do?
rug the space.
No, I have workarounds on top of workarounds. Come on now.
You just open up your computer. Hey, so when you're playing around with Twitter on your desktop, right?
Okay.
Does it
I'm
bot?
suspicious of this question
No,
already.
no,
I just
no,
want
no, no, no. It's a technical computer question. Does it block in all the cells like it's streaming your phone to your computer, but it's just like there's no way to adjust it or blow up any of the cells that are on the screen, or is that just some crappy setting that I have on my PC? Because like where the cells would expand and kind of fill the screen, it just like rides in the middle of my screen like I'm using a giant cell phone.
I think that's an MDS question.
I'm working right now. I didn't even hear the.
Lol. I
What's he
don't know.
building?
I'm the worst boomer ever. Let's see, what
Yeah,
are
I don't
the
know.
most talked about stocks on Twitter?
this past week. It put the frame. Well.
What we got?
Dude, it's giving me a bunch of stocks I've never even heard about. BYDDY. Does anyone know about this?
Is that BYDDY? Is that Beyond? That ain't
No.
BYDDY. BYDDY. It's an OTC. What the
Wow.
hell?
Twitter's talking about OTCs.
It's
It
an
makes sense
OTC
because,
PK. It's $52 a share.
so
That ain't
according to the
right.
latest data, the most talked about stocks on Twitter in the past week are um, TATA Power, literally spelled out. So TATAPOWER. JSW Energy and SJVN.
I can't find any of these.
You messing with me?
You have too much power. Too much power. You're looking into the future.
Yeah, you're into the future, man. One of those doesn't even come up. It's got a name, no,
Oh
no.
my god. I dude, I said, "Are you messing with me?" And it was like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally messing with you." The most talked about stocks are Tesla, Apple, or no, AAPL. Yeah, Apple, right?
Yeah, Apple.
Amazon. It's like a who's who's of the tech world.
We'll have to check on those stocks, those tickers you named off next week, though. See if they're running.
I think BYDGY might be a real one because someone mentioned it, but maybe they had a typo.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I did pull it up. It's BYDDY equity OTC PK. What does that PK stand for on the back end?
um, that stands for the over-the-counter market, OTC.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's like $52 a share.
Let's see
Wonder what
what's that stock you really like?
what's that?
What is it? It's
My marriage company?
APLL.
ALPP. ALPP.
Why can I never remember? You know what? That's why it's not a meme stock. You can never remember the ticker.
It's right
So
now currently it's not my favorite. I'm pretty
the
pissed off at him.
the funny thing about the analysis of this though is like it's not bad. Like so it's like it says, and people who are watching the stream can see this up close. Um, it seems that ALPP has a rough time recently. The stock has been trending down, dropping 4% on a day when everything was going up. Some people on Twitter have been making jokes about it.
Yes, me being one of
There,
them.
there's a lot of chatter about potential delisting and late
Oh,
filings.
they got a late filing, but it ain't delisting anytime soon. They were close to it, and then they RS'd on us, but it was a 1-8 split, and now it's kind of sitting at a low floater. So the low float, it's been kind of pretty volatile.
Here you go. On the
But
bright side, there are some people who believe the stock is undervalued and that it could make a comeback. It's like a financial version of the little engine that could.
yeah, yeah, they got a couple things they're working on right now that I'm excited for. Everything else, I don't know what to think about. But they got a major cash burn, which I don't like. Um, they haven't printed any money since like last year, second quarter. which was only they had a positive EPS because of a sale of property, which kind of pushed them over, and then they leased that some other properties. But they're I'm trying to watch this for like a break even or start putting out profit and then dropping two catalysts. One is the solid state battery tech that they're working with and the OEMs that are testing it in California for microgrid stuff, which we should be getting news on that hopefully by first quarter. And then they're doing a drone delivery pilot in Dubai right now, and they've received uh, multiple certifications that kind of help um, further along the AI generated pathing and stuff like that. So they are they're planning on releasing an IPO on that and breaking it off of the company, with the company still holding some ownership of that special dividend, right? Which I don't know if this is just something they stuck with and they had planned from, the OTC market and now, because that kind of seems to be like an OTC thing to do is break off a company and make another dividend. But either way, I stand to get some shares for that. Those are my two bullish sentiments for it. Other than that, they need to get their shit together because I'm pretty mad at them. They just can't seem to get the NASDAQ part down. They're kind of still running like an OTC. So love hate. I am excited about their monitor line through RCA. I've been enjoying my new monitor. I'm playing a shit ton of Starfield. And that's the last I'm going to talk about that until that filing comes out.
Sorry, I'm asking it all just a bunch of questions, seeing what it comes up with.
Yeah, I want to know when Spy's going to crash.
Oh, that'll be my next question. Let's see. What was the question?
When Moon.
When will Spy? When will Spy crash in the past year? Well, it seems that Spy had up and downs in the past.
That's it.
Oh no, there's a whole thing. It says a bunch of stuff.
Have you played with uh, some of the other AI software?
A little bit, a little bit.
Have you kind of figured out how to like prompt a little better or navigate like what you're prompting to kind of,
Get your answer.
well, not your answer, but like to get it to respond where it doesn't sound like a freaking, totally made up make believe response, right? Or that
My chat GPT writes things in a very always as a pirate, so I don't know.
have you
I'm not even
prompted it
kidding.
a lot to be a pirate?
Somewhat.
So it's developed a memory of being a pirate.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. Well, because yeah, I'll have it either write things or then rewrite things, and then I'm like, okay, can we do this a little straight? Like, because it's its initial is to write like a pirate, which is kind of interesting. I'm right now. I'm on this one AI scam, or not scam. It's not. It's just it's
Yeah.
basically a hack, if you
Right.
will. Um, and what you do is you create. The problem is I'm on a Mac, so I don't know how to create a CSV file on a Mac. It's not the
Yeah.
easiest thing to do.
Right.
But you ask it to make trivia questions, and then you can make 15-second videos, and then you mash the trivia and the 15-minute videos,
All
and then you
right.
can create content. And supposedly, if you post them, like 8 times a day or some shit, you can get monetization on your YouTube pretty
On
quickly.
your YouTube or your Twitter feed.
Yeah.
There's some larger accounts, man. I've been seeing them post like monthly, monthly paychecks. And from what I have with that is it turned Twitter into like just a daily like bait tweet for a lot of people, which is irritating me. But I don't know. That'd be kind of a cool goal down the road, especially if you blow this thing up and Mark picks like the most bullish uh stock play ever and it blows your whole space up.
Dude, Mark is Mark, definitely. But don't undercut MDS, man. MDS, I should have listened to MDS about a lot of shit that he's gone over with you tonight. But one of the ones that stands out is, oh God, I forget the name of the company. It was like ChargePoint, but it's not ChargePoint. It's like something Power. I don't know. It had an
Oh,
epic
was
run.
it
It got
Plug? Was it Plug?
Upstart.
Upstart, yeah.
Upstart. That's it. Upstart had like an epic run where it was like a 3-bagger, I think, from the
Woo.
time that he called it out.
No, I'm not underplaying Mark. By the way, Mark, I know he's just actually looking at everything we're talking about.
Well, Mark's crazy because you get access to a guy who's watching the volume constantly. Like when he's not like doing a house, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, dang. Upstart looks good. Everything looks good right now. I can't look at this market.
Yeah, now is a
I
market to look. I mean, I don't know. I'm
look for
looking
put
at.
plays.
No, I look for exits mostly if I want exits in anything. Like I think I had a spike in something that I just got equal in, and I was like, I'm taking it today. Or I think I had like 10% on it, but I was like, I'm so sick of looking at this stock.
Right. Yeah. I've had a one that I've played with for a long time was oh god, I like deleted it out of my memory. It's a freaking China crypto company, a blockchain company. What was it called? Dude, I just kept relentlessly buying calls on it, and all I ever did was lose on it. But I had it in my portfolio for the longest time. Gosh, I wish I can remember it. eBang, Ebon, EBON. But it used to ride in like pretty good waves where you could kind of grab a big spike, and then all of a sudden it just turned off. And it's like all the running up and running down just stopped. And I was like almost like for about a year, like wishing that it would just spike one more time. so I could like reclaim all my losses on the premiums that I kept paying for. But no more China stocks for me. They can't be trusted.
I don't actually do Chinese stocks either. Like that as a general rule.
Yeah, they're just, it always seems to be like a lead into corruption and then like an Enron scenario and then dilution and scandal, or you can't even find the existence of the company and, find an address, you know.
Dude, and I'll tell you, like, Roger Hamilton has kind of got me to the point where I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going Singapore anymore either. Like, what's going
Yeah.
on? Where are my shares? Where are my dividend shares? Because I was signed up for Upstream or whatever, that platform was, but then
hmm
and then they got delivered to my broker. So where are they?
But they're not there. Are you guys hearing me?
Yeah, I hear you, and they're not there.
MDS is scratching his balls.
I'm here. I'm just working.
Maybe that was
That's
your
right.
chin.
Out of all of us, he's
Actually looking at stuff.
that's right. Putting in the time, like The Rock says. I have been
I don't know.
pondering the going that full nine, like doing the mark and waking up at like Jesus. For me, it would be when does pre-market start on the East
4
Coast?
a.m.
4 a.m. on the East Coast.
Well, no, 4 a.m. for us. If you want to get up at 4.
Oh, it's just 4.
Yeah. I'm usually up because I have to go to work.
Hmm.
And then I try to catch all my pre-market before I get to work. And then I go to work. And then I lose a bunch of money in the stock market and I get off work and then I buy more stuff and then I lose it the next day also. That's my daily routine.
You definitely fit it around here.
What about Rivian?
I have been liking Rivian lately and I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a while.
I think I sold it too early.
It's our IVN, right? What is your thought on the Bezos or the Amazon investment and then the I can't remember the amount of money. I think it was up there in like a couple billion that they invested in putting in their EV delivery vans. And everybody was kept like kind of saying that Amazon's going to sell it off. Amazon's going to sell it off. But I keep seeing more and more of these pop up where I live. Obviously, I live in like an Amazon hub, but they're freaking everywhere now.
Just the EV part or the vans?
The EV, like they build like whole charging parking lots for these things, and then they got all the Rivian vans at their Amazon buildings.
Yeah. I don't know if that Rivian deal is legit and they are using the vans. Maybe that's why the stock is kind of turned around a little bit because I was looking for like some serious they need some serious like um consistent income, right? So
Right.
so that's what I was looking for. What are they going to do for that while they're still building? Because these car companies, you can see with all of these car companies, it takes years to get out of this, out of the build
Yeah,
phase.
Yeah, get out of the research and discovery phase. Like Elon's kind of beat everybody to the punch, right? But you got the Rivian, and then you got Mullen. I don't think Mullen's gonna make it, honestly. They
What?
might, but yeah, dang man's a shot. But I don't know who's invested here, so I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I would buy that ever again because I have in the past. But you go through like these growing pains through all your approvals, all the safety stuff, all the highway test, like got just massive amount of research and discovery, testing, and they kind of had a kickback last year where they were putting out their vehicles and um they weren't having a very good, like, they're getting a lot of recalls, and that kind of kicked them back a little bit. And then like all the fudsters kind of rolled in, like, oh yeah, Amazon's gonna pull the rug on all that. But I think that they are probably a little further along than some of these other players, right? Like we got Lucid. I haven't looked at Lucid in forever, but just kind of comparing all these newer car companies. So Lucid's sitting around 450 right now, but like, how are you going to sell these extremely expensive electric vehicles? And we were kind of talking about this the other night. Like, you either bring your prices down or you make them so freaking nice with the longest, best battery packs in them that you got, that it's kind of hard not to buy one. And I think like Toyota, Nissan, all these other companies are really working towards getting into this sector. And I think it's like a world narrative too for the carbon reduction stuff. But um I've been waiting for a little more confirmation on if this thing's gonna like really start pushing hard towards the north side.
What about Polestar? Do you like any of that?
I've been in a couple Polestars. The prices, right? They're not nearly as nice as a Rivian, but they're comfortable. They're really open. I mean, they're super quiet. They ride nice. Um, what's the average cost on a freaking Polestar
But I mean, the stock price difference is dramatic. I mean, you're talking a $2 stock price, you know,
versus a $16, $17 range?
yeah, 19. And then,
So MSRP 51,000. Some of these Rivians, like either the SUV or the truck, the R1, like you're looking well into 75 to 100,000 range, depending on where you live.
yeah, big jump.
And then, yeah, and then like Pulsar ones, Pulsar twos, those are selling, I mean, all over the place. But um,
And also, you're starting to see Polestar commercials. Like, I see them on football a lot, or some events and stuff like that. I kind of like that, if you're gonna do this, you need to spend some money on advertising, because the average everyday Joe is only gonna know about Tesla. You-
right,
How much
right,
advertising are you seeing on general mainstream TV?
nothing. Yeah,
None.
not a single thing.
Mullen, how much Mullen have you seen?
It was about 15 billion shares. That's how much. That's how much I've seen. Oh, sorry. Uh, I
But yeah,
couldn't help
but I
it.
have actually seen Polestar commercials.
Right.
So I kind of like that, just whether it's costing them money or not. But it's something to get their name out, and like you say, if their price is cheaper and they're looking for a different target audience,
I
they
I
may
think
have a
that's
little niche,
I
maybe.
think I think that's right. And the way I'm going to put this, and we kind of talked about this the other night. He who shall not be named tonight, even though we talked about him a little bit. Uh, he was talking like you got to give it away for free to get this stuff moving, right? So I think they're on to something as well. And I kind of know where you're leading with this. It's like, is that price gonna potentially move up if they start knocking a lot of sales out of the park, right? And I look at it kind of like the housing market. I'm, you know, single family, two people. I don't need like an $800,000 house. I kind of want to just buy like a 2 bedroom house with a rambler, and I don't want to spend that much money on having something. And I kind of do the same thing when I buy vehicles as well. It's like I don't need all that. And if you don't have a market for it, then what's there to buy? And unless you want to buy a used Tesla that who knows what's been done to it, how they treated the battery. 'Cause you got battery degradation, all these like unknowns that kind of kick in, right? And yeah, like I think price point is a major thing. And I think Elon figured that out coming into this year. And a lot of people really rampaged over that, where he just started selling the cars cheaper and cheaper. But he's also put out the most sales in the EV market as well. So he's a few steps ahead of them, but I think Polestar got the right price. It's a comfortable car. They're really nice. Like I got in one of my friends, and it wasn't like it was nice. It was a nice rig. And then I've been in like the Audi e-tron, and those are really nice, but they're $50,000 more than the Polestar.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's that's what I was just saying. It's like, to me, if I'm going to go long on something, and just try to go long, I have to look at all that. I have to look at, like, do I even like it? Would I even
Yeah,
buy this crap? Because I think you need to look at what the average everyday person's gonna do, and it's like Tesla. To keep your product selling, you have to get, a lower price. So you're going to get your vendors to give you X amount of product for, the whole business model. So, he's got it figured out to where, yeah, I think he wants a target price, for his target audience, and then, yeah, you want to spend a little more to get something nicer or whatever. Um, maybe you go to a Lucid or whatever, whatever these other companies that want to be, I mean, some of these companies that, that's what they want to be. They want to be the Cadillac of EV world, but,
right.
are they gonna, is the stock price gonna justify it is my thing, but what if Polestar comes out with an earnings one day, or, some better news? It seems like it might have a little bit more room to run type thing.
Yeah, more grit. And like I don't know if you guys talk with Frank, but Frank and I have kind of gotten in this conversation, and then Mullen is one that gets brought up all the time. And the reason why that gets brought up is he likes to talk about the manufacturing process of what it costs to keep a plant running. And it seems like the biggest issue that all these companies have done is they jump in, you got to refabricate all your machines, you got to do all this huge upfront spending, right? And then you've got the training curve on the ground. And it seems that the EV sector has a lot of struggles to deal with. Um, sorry about that. Uh, of like getting over these hurdles of just the cost to run production. And then you run kind of that teetering line, like, okay, we're going to put out good numbers. They might put out good numbers, and then the next thing you see is a recall. And that's kind of why I back reference to Rivian is I played around with it multiple times in certain price ranges, and then the next thing you see is a recall. Then all the fudsters start rolling out, and you see a sell off. But I do. What is Pulsar's ticker?
ESNY, I think.
ESNY.
Something like that.
I'll try to find it.
Hang on. I got it. PSNY.
Oh, P. MACDs on a weekly crossover. Get some higher prices and
I mean, another thing about this
gear.
company, it has its trends. Like, it has its big sell-offs. Like, you can tell when it's just getting delusion pounded.
Right.
It's got these big monthly sell-offs, and then it just kind of breathes for a bit. But after those big sell-offs, there might be some opportunity in there.
And they got their earnings up right here. Let's see if I can pull it up. Revenue 613 million. I'm curious about their cash burn. Is what I was kind of alluding to what it takes to run these things. So ticker PSNY.
I think Captain went to sleep on us. See, he tricked me.
Yeah, he left.
Hilarious. I remembered that I needed to make that hilarious meme that I'm almost finished making while I was listening to you gentlemen discuss finances in the most interesting way. So how dare you, MDS? How dare you?
Are you multitasking?
Right? Aren't you, Mister? I'm working.
100%.
Where's
All
our
right.
host?
So here's the question, right? You've got Ted Farnsworth or David Mitchery. Who's worse? Who's first place? Who's second place?
Ooh.
And that's a tough one. Probably Ted first because he's already in jail, right?
Yeah,
David's still
That's
working on it.
yep. That's
Dave's
what
on his jet.
I was thinking as well. So, all right.
What was that ridiculous? I'd sent that to you in a DM, MDS. That freaking ridiculous tweet. What was that freaking ticker? I already forgotten about it.
Which one?
Where that CEO came out and says, "We're in the position. We're in a position where dilution is not needed until next week.
Oh,
This is a
that's
positive
our
step to
favorite.
our
That's him,
finance.
Tom. That's our favorite guy.
What is this guy doing?" I just like I could not
Dude,
stop laughing at that.
he's not gonna dilute onto you until at least next week.
At
He's
least
giving you the whole week.
it'll
Just,
probably won't even be that long. It'll probably be like 3 days.
I think this
Oh
thing
my
is
goodness.
triple RS. I mean, oh
Oh
my
wait, it's
god.
coming in. Speaking of which, that sweet meme just got posted. I'm gonna post it on my main account, but I was posting it the preview for you guys to let you know that I was working on good stuff. So that's the guy you were just talking about in third place right now for worst CEO of all time. But
He's almost
celebrating.
there. He's almost there.
That's right.
That's awesome. Yeah, it
I'm
sucks because man, I really deep dived him too. I mean, I took like a month and deep dived that whole company, man. I found some cool stuff and awesome connections, and the dude
where
could
they for
really do something. He could
where
legitimately do something, but he's just
where his
uh,
connections from Italy?
yeah, everything's Euro, Italy. He's the one who's over here, but it's kind of like a real weird Italian mob boss type thing they got
I
going from what
I'm
I've been
kind of
reading.
I'm kind of thinking that after he borrows everybody's money, these sweet loans we give him in the capital markets, right? That that he might be a made man over there by the end of it, huh? If he doesn't end up in jail or get subpoenaed.
He's already gotten what did Frank say the other day? It was like, why does my mute keep on going off? But it's Frank was saying that he makes like 19 million a year off of
Oh
his
yeah,
company that he's
yeah.
getting directly from shareholders.
So he had a space call and he was like, "Yeah, the board's gonna address my high pay." He's like taking like $2 million a month or something like that. It's like a ridiculous amount for a CEO pension.
For not
We're not
actually
talking.
producing anything, yeah, I would think that that's pretty ridiculous. I mean, how do you get into that? Like,
Well,
how do
what you
you make
do
that deal?
is you keep diluting your stock every week, every other week. You give everybody a good warning though, and make sure that it doesn't happen until next week.
I'll tell you another good one that's coming around. It's finally on its year, 2 year. Let's pump the hell out of this stupid stock, so that they can make their money and go quiet again. But it's TMGI, the marquee group. But this dude, it's the guy behind it that kills me because he's just a classic, scam artist delusion guy. But remember those like infomercials or commercials like late at night where it's like they sells music and shit, like
Yeah,
old 40s or 60s music and shit.
yeah,
He's
oh
been
yeah,
selling this shit for years. And then he's got his wife. Now they're doing makeup and shit like that. And she's been in the makeup industry for years. And supposedly they
35
were going to do
years.
this like 3, 4 years ago. And then it got delayed and this, that. And now they're coming out with their new product. It's just the same old bullshit, dude. And it's like, this thing like floats at 0, 0, 0 zeros all the time, and then it'll pump to something, and they'll go right back down because they have to dilute the shit out of it. And yeah,
Yeah,
they just live off that stock. It's just their personal ATM, just like a lot of these companies. It's
it's
crazy.
a lot. It's a lot better than like selling Scentsy candles or Beachbody workout, where you gotta buy something, right? And then you gotta like create a social account, and you just come to the stock market and talk about all the cool things that you're gonna do, and then get a couple investors, and then you dilute them. Pretty cool. I think it's nice.
Did you guys hear this news story of there was supposedly like a Netflix production that wasted all of the money on
Option plays.
options? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's about time I get a job at Netflix. Yeah, it was like $11 million.
Did it
The
say something
direct
like Serfdom Productions or something like that?
no, it's like everything I'm doing is real low key. It's just on the internet, you know. It'll probably be some type of hub site, but
Netflix coming. Serfdom Production presents. I spent it all on options. And it
I
was
was
Is it
drinking.
fruit?
ALPP that took me down.
In my defense, I was drinking. No,
Now
I
watch
didn't.
this
I
piece
didn't
of
spend it
fruit
all
for the
there.
next half hour.
Yeah,
No.
I might duct tape a banana to the wall and sell it to somebody as an NFT.
One of my
But
coworkers habitually duct tapes uh, bananas to walls.
yeah,
Like habitually. It happens
yeah.
all the time at
Well,
work. They'll be like,
you know where that came from, right?
no.
Some art show and like the classic like New York studio kind of thing. Somebody duct taped a banana to the wall, and somebody bought it for $100,000 and ate the thing. Some odd, crazy story like that. But I've always thought that somebody should mint that banana duct taped to a wall as an NFT.
I'm going to have like rich ass friends who I'm just like, yo, I need money. So they come to my art studio and do something outlandish for a
Attention.
sound bite.
It's
Yeah.
probably Gavin or something.
Dude, that shit like I have a big suspicion that like art in general is just basically a front, either for hiding cash or hiding drug money or making drug transactions. Although that kind of moved to NFTs.
Okay, New York Post. Banana duct
Selling
taped
love.
to a wall sells for 120K. Oh, it was in Miami.
Like I hear that news story and I say, "Wow, that's inventive," and then I think, like, not 100 and anywhere close to six-figure inventive. Like MDS could shellac one of those for you. You know how to shellac MDS? I'm not even sure.
Yeah, shellacking. An ancient form of water protection, I believe.
Yeah, like
He
deck
believes
sealant.
like water off a duck's back. Um, all right.
Well, guys.
What I was gonna say. Yeah, I kept you on long enough.
Oh, no, I'm just trying not to be so long-winded as well. So you guys threw my whole week off.
It was a crazy week.
No,
It
we
has
did.
been.
I'm glad it's
I think
over.
tomorrow. I think tomorrow is gonna be even worse. I think this is like we are. No, this is something strange afoot. Like
I'm waiting for the $1 million cheeseburgers, and we water the fields with Gatorade.
no, I mean this is beautiful, right? Because this could be the point of capitulation. Um,
Let's see what
it's
happens.
interesting.
Like the natural laws of physics are gonna like kick in, right? Like people are gonna be like, "Hey, I could take a profit here because this is getting kind of ridiculous and we're kind of high." The normal bullshit of like sell high.
That you're retarded, like
Yeah,
post-traumatic Down syndrome.
Well,
I've
and then
I've been that high before.
and then I'm like, are we even there yet? Like, what did Burry see that made him change his mind? Like, are we going way higher? Like, we could be going way higher too, which is just crazy.
The little Coheed flash of his portfolio is what scared him away.
Dude, here's my thing is SPY had to hit all-time highs before we had the last Black Swan event. And we are in that territory now. And that I don't really think that situation has ever worked itself out. But we'll see.
Oh, well, what they do is they print some money and they give it out to everybody. That's how we
Yeah,
fixed the last one.
but the problem is that the velocity of the dollar is so weak right now. It's at 1. So every
Yeah,
dollar that they're giving out is coming right back to them. And that's not
yeah,
a healthy economy.
yeah.
Like,
The debt deficit's really a terrifying thing right now. That if you understand the full mechanics of it, it's like, where do you step back here and start, like, come back to reality a little bit? And like MDS, you kind of like mentioned it. I think everybody's kind of tired of this guy in office and getting excited about it. And I think the market feels like it's a bit in like a hyper, like, we're making money again. The printer's back on. And I don't know, I ignored that into 2021. I had some major sell-offs and like held on to things that I probably shouldn't have. I don't want to get caught up in it again, but I don't know where exactly to hedge and stay away from it as well. Because you got bonds are going crazy, gold's going crazy, things are kind of all over the place. Like, I think the market kind of is reacting the same way. Like, nobody knows where to, you know, put something where at least it's going to be somewhat safe, right?
Well, like the whole old saying, if your portfolio is like where you should take a picture of it, you should probably be selling it. And
if it's worth
it's just
screenshotting,
yeah,
it's worth selling.
yeah,
100%.
Just
exactly.
because
Not
it's
that
so
not that any
sad.
of ours are like that, but in the big scheme of things, when you're looking at the charts and stuff, it's like, oh, this is a picture moment. Maybe I
Is
should
it
be looking the
is
other.
that point where you like give up and you just like, I'll come back to it like Eric Clapton style and then put out another album like 25 years later? Just give it a break.
I mean, supposedly, but I mean, it's weird though what's not running though, right? Because that's almost as interesting as what everything else is that's running, right? Because you have definitely your beta and your negative beta showing in some tickers. Like,
Hmm.
look at Cosm. Cosm hasn't done anything. It's 104. GNS is kind of the same way. It stayed right around 160. Um,
And,
HVCO
and
has.
the real question is, are these detached because of the heavy shorting that's pushed into these, or is there just no buying there currently? And like, let's say we see a market sell off and they push into micro caps or small funds. Um, I mean, you can kind of run a couple different scenarios, and you can kind of see this stuff swing sometimes. Like, see like a evolving door of like pharmaceutical tech companies popping up all over the place and running really good, and then it moves into electric companies, and then oil companies, and then SPACs. Remember when SPACs were all running? Like, it almost seems like it just kind of rides in waves. And are you front loading one and waiting for that wave, or are you front loading one and waiting for the wave down? It's like, it does make you wonder, like, why some of the stuff isn't moving.
It usually doesn't move when I'm holding it.
Yeah, it's just down.
That's not true. Dish is moving, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I
I
think
mean,
Dish could be a whiplash though. I think this could be like, they show you that green candle day, and then they just rug pull you.
Yeah.
oh man, if that happened in big today, that would be awesome.
You're
I would
just waiting
love
for
that.
it.
Just,
what
I mean,
what
because even look at the 3 month, like, I guess today, if you look at the day, the volume still. So I don't know. Is that just what's going on? Is that it's because SPY is running and therefore
everything
that's
else
what
is going?
yeah.
It's got to be because everything gets back tested against S&P 500, right? Like most of the standards are kind of back tested on S&P 500. Like if you're gonna get all your ratings and stuff, a lot of it's back tested. So I mean, it kind of leads to think that just because we're at all-time highs with S&P 500, that it's probably attached to all this other stuff. But where does that liquidity come from? Is my question. Like, how can the entire market, like, are these just funds like holding this stuff to run this stuff up?
Okay, I got a theory on this. When you're
Because
talking,
it doesn't make sense, right? Like, where did all this money just magically poof? Here it is. Here's the market now.
see, I think it didn't just magically, because think about it. What did Bitcoin do? It sold off.
Right. It did.
So there's a huge liquidity right there in somebody's. And I think they've created, somewhere where they can bounce between and move their liquidity around. And it's just kind of odd that they, you look at all the charts and, the market's got this nice trend going to it, and you can kind of follow it. And then all of a sudden it just whiplashes. And it's like, well, how did it do that? And then you kind of think, well, maybe some of that was that, liquidity from the Bitcoin stuff. It just seems kind of odd.
Right.
Tinfoil,
Yeah.
tinfoil.
No, I've been on that trend for years, thinking the same thing. So it's odd to get a populist opinion from somebody like I don't know you from Jim, right? But your mind works in the same way.
And you know, but don't you think that's why GME is such like a good opportunity? Because look at what the market has done. Look at what that stock has done over like the year period, whilst having nothing but bullish news, right? And yes, you could say that in 2021, the evaluation probably was off, and then it definitely became dislocated, or at least from intrinsic value, not necessarily potential value from market mechanics. Um, but since that time, even now they were expecting -8 cents, and our last earnings saw -1 cent.
Right. Yeah,
So,
they're getting really close to break even or profit.
well, exactly. Well, they're break even in because they make 75% of their profit in the Christmas season.
And like one thing I try to look for is like if you're gonna like try to long a position, as I look for like a break even EPS or that curve that they're starting to push upward, right? Like you kind of have this hump of negative EPS, but it's shrinking. And once you hit that brink of like break even and positive, that gives you a lot of opportunity for that next earnings call to be heavy, cash in hand, heavy profits, and then you see the market sentiment change on it. So that's something I kind of chase after a little bit. Is like, okay, yeah, maybe this doesn't look great now, but in this environment, there is a large potential for deals to work out. There's all these things, right? You can have come into play, but you know, these market makers don't want to take risk after risk after risk investing in a company that's never going to make money. So eventually they turn their heads and walk away. But when they're right on the edge of that potential like liquidity event, right? Like the news does come out, the stock does run, there's a lot of potential there. And like a negative one notch there, like that, it's not that big of a deal. Because next quarter, that could be working towards the positive side of their earnings per share.
Oh, you think next quarter? No, the next quarter will definitely, but it's traditionally been the quarter that brings it in,
All right.
right? And so running at like pretty much debt neutral, like and really substantially not a huge percentage loss before, still a loss though for the two prior quarters. Like, but still, you saw that shrinking earnings per share, and so next month will just be killer because it'll just be like this is all the money that we're putting into the coffer,
Right.
of which we're now going to then spend on I'm sure, given Ryan Cohen's past
Yep.
financial endeavors, he's beaten SPY twice now, at least 2 years, because he was in GameStop in what, 2019, 2020.
Yep.
I mean, even at today's prices, which is just $40, he's probably better than what he got in at. I think we're actually near 50 now, right? With 16 times 4, whatever it is.
Mhm.
I don't know. This run could be spicy.
I didn't realize this thing forward split.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, and there's actually much of the debate that's going on Twitter right now because people have nothing better to do, although it's a good debate, is that was supposed to be handled as a split dividend. So
Mhm.
each share was supposed to be, there were supposed to be 3 shares created for each share, and then each of those shares were supposed to be dispensed through a dividend. But
Mhm.
most of the brokerages just split the shares in quarters,
Oh shit.
which lets the short position out of what they were
Right.
doing
Right. Okay. Yeah, I see
to a
that. I
certain
see what you're
degree.
getting at. Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then like calling for a split does like share ownership. Sometimes it shakes these guys out. Some of the short positions because they can't find the shares. Right. They've been borrowing, but they don't have them, so they got to close out, or the big old margin comes rolling in. Maybe they're not paying their margins. They're just taking it and paying the fees on them. There's a lot of tinfoil for GME though. And the
Oh
same
yeah,
goes
lots of
same same goes for
lots of
like
tinfoil.
same thing. I mean, like I see, is any of those guys still messing around with AMC? Because
Well,
I
with
know
the
there was like a conspiracy, like AMC was a distraction from GME, like back when I was in it, a long time ago. But
Well, I mean, here's my thing, right? Is like, so I've been in GME since basically a day before the sneeze.
Right.
And what's interesting to me is reading the DG at that time and kind of the vision that we had for what GME would become. Uh, it felt, it feels today like we are closer to that vision by the various things, like, because like the Berkshire Hathaway of Degens, like as I titled this space, that was like what some of us thought would eventually be GME, because we had such a dedicated, or we felt we had such a dedicated base that would just buy and hold. And I think to this day, there are people out there who might not even trade stocks often, but they might just own GME because of the hype back then.
Right. Yeah. And this, I'm going to back
You know,
reference like idiocracy again. It's like in this world of idiocracy, there's like five companies that own everything. It's like Fuddruckers, Carl's Jr., Costco, and me and the guys like back in the day trading, the squeeze were always joking about idiocracy. Like you're gonna go to college at GameStop and shop at GameStop and get your coffee and your video games and
GameStop will. I think I put out a meme at that time, like all your retail are belong to us.
I'm looking forward to gentlemen lattes.
You know, long live G America, man. Like,
G America. Honestly, I haven't touched it since I sold it off back
oh
then.
my goodness, you
I know,
crazy man.
maybe I should
Hey,
dabble in it
Brant,
again.
I'll tell you, if Roaring Kitty's still in it, I'm still in it. That's how I'm going. And I've heard no indication that Roaring Kitty has exited his position.
I haven't heard anything since the court hearing, honestly. I haven't seen one tweet or anything after that. Well,
Well,
not a tweet, but Reddit.
except for my exclusive DD that
Right.
not DD tinfoil that MDS did not approve of, not approved
I know.
by
He just put his phone down and walked away.
bro. Who is
I told him no all nighters. Here he goes. Here he
all right?
goes.
Nope, nope. Let's go. All right, everybody. Donuts in the house. It scares me. Thank you everybody for coming out. I think we had a pretty productive space. Sorry we had to wait a day for this riveting conversation. Thank you, Grok, for really taking up the majority of the show of the good content, at least. So everybody should go check out Twitter.
The good
Lol.
content.
Um, yeah, and again, any final thoughts before we shut this down?
We'll see you next week, maybe.
Hopefully
As
we
long
get
as
it back on the right day, and hopefully we got our other duck in a row.
Yeah.
yeah, right. I mean, I don't know. I have been thinking about getting up like mad crazy early and just talking with Mark during pre-market.
There
Free
you go.
market.
Like switching the show until before we go to work. That might be
Oh,
interesting.
oh wow. A
Yeah, I
whole
don't
new
know.
Yeah.
twist
I don't know.
up
I'm
the
Maybe
not
that'll
a
be like
I'm
maybe
not
that'll be a
I'm
weekend
not a
show.
morning person.
I'm
Like
usually not
Saturday?
either. Yeah,
Yep.
right. Me neither. I'm usually not either, so it'll be interesting. But yeah, and everyone check out the 24-hour Be Big um 24-hour marathon space this weekend with Mr. Rick. That's gonna be pretty damn spicy from everything I've heard. Pretty damn
Yeah.
spicy.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. Try to pop in a couple times. And we got Pugsy. He's doing a Christmas special, isn't he?
And then we got Pugsy's Christmas special coming up next Thursday. So
Dang.
yeah, we
It's
got a whole week of fun.
be a adventurous week. All right,
everybody.
guys.
MDS, did you have that one final thought? No, we did not. Thought? No, we did not.